High hopes the winter tourist season could be the best since the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Mia Mottley is on a Time magazine list of influential leaders driving climate action. Several young people to play a pivotal role in this year's National Independence Thanksgiving service. And in sports, Harrison College do the double at BSSAC Cross Country finals.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. The Grantley Adams International Airport has recorded its busiest day for arrivals, welcoming about 3,000 visitors. Chief Executive Officer Hadley Bourne says it augurs well for the winter tourist season. Trevor Thorpe has that story.
The arrival numbers for the busiest day have doubled, and the officials believe this is a sign the 2023 season could be the best since the pandemic. The visitors received a welcome organized by the Barbados Tourism Investment Incorporated and the Grantley Adams International Airport Incorporated.
All of our parking positions will be utilized. We are hoping that the schedules run accordingly, because any variations in schedules or delays will probably cause some disruption to the schedule. We are anticipating in just over approximately 3,000 passengers during the peak period, which will run roughly between 2 and 4 this afternoon. And as you can see from around us how in the arrival and departure hall looks, and we're hoping that there will be many other days like this for the season. It's early days in the winter season. Normally, we would not reach our peak capacity in terms of the busiest day, not till in December. But this is an indication of what the winter season and tourist season is looking like for Barbados for this year.
Mr. Bourne says the high numbers have been bolstered by air-to-sea passengers.
Outside of the normal activity, the air-to-sea, you have a cruise ship that probably taking 4,000 or 5,000 passengers, and as you can see, even as we see there are 2 Condors and I think a Eurowings on the ground, that is, you have to be able to handle those. So that's 7 or 8 wide bodies alone to just take those passengers for that one cruise ship. So it goes hand in hand with what is happening in the port, also has an impact on what's happening at the airport in terms of the tourists and the arrivals.
The airport CEO says mechanisms are being put in place to accommodate increases in both arrivals as well as departures.
The air-to-sea arrivals and departures will then also come invariably around the same time of our regular commercial traffic. So it puts a operational challenge on our infrastructure. We are designed to handle between 1,400 and 1,600 passengers an hour, and at peak I think we'll be roughly around 3,000 or so out there, between 2,500 and 3,000. So that's why for us it's something that we monitor, and would have put various plans in place with the stakeholders, the ground handling agencies, Forstings, who would facilitate some of the cruise ship passengers, more of a passenger flow mitigation strategy as we call it.
And the Grantley Adams International Airport Small Business Initiative for local entrepreneurs provided the visitors with the opportunity to grab last-minute souvenirs before departure. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Efforts are underway to finding a permanent solution to problems with discolored water from the Barbados Water Authority's Bowmanston plant. That situation is a concern for several residents in St. Philip, St. George and St. John. Director of Engineering at the BWA, Charles Leslie, has disclosed the authority will be initiating a project in the next 3 months to fix the problem. Mr. Leslie tells CBC News several long-term recommendations have been made after consultations with local and international consultants about the discoloration of the water. He says they have identified 2 areas where the silt is entering the water catchment and creating the problems, and these are being addressed. Mr. Leslie says a multi-pronged approach has been identified to address the situation, and contracts are about to be signed.
We are at the stage right now where we are just about to sign the contract with the contractor to commence works, physical works on the ground. The works are expected to commence in February next year, 2024, and it is anticipated that the works that are planned, this is like the rehabilitation of the upstream catchment. This is the building of the dam, the cleaning of the area upstream, trying to deal with the erosion, that type of thing, plus the cleaning of the Wilmington Reservoir, construction of a new reservoir. All of that is anticipated to take approximately a year.
Mr. Leslie says in the meantime, the BWA is making adjustments to bringing water from neighboring systems into the affected areas. He's also dismissed suggestions they shut off water from the Wilmington plant every time there's heavy rainfall.
It's the intense rainfall where silt is washed into the sinkholes and that type of stuff. And at this point in time, there are two of them that we are aware of that may be contributing to the situation. There's the one at Pool Gully, and then there's another one that was further down called the Duck Farm area. So we don't get a situation after every rainfall. Sometimes it is you have rain in the area and you can continue with the pumping, but we're constantly monitoring the water quality, so we're constantly taking samples of the water.
Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley continues to be internationally recognized for her efforts in the areas of climate change and resilience funding. She's been named on the inaugural Time 100 climate list of the 100 most influential leaders driving climate action. Time magazine says the list was created after months of climate experts vetting nominations from across the world economy and focusing on measurable, scalable achievements. The US-based publication described Prime Minister Mottley as one of the world's most vocal advocates for wealthy nations and historic polluters to support the most vulnerable countries facing permanent loss or damage from climate change. It highlighted the Bridgetown Initiative and Ms. Mottley's ambitious plan to phase out fossil fuels by 2030, among other achievements. Others on the list include Bill Gates, World Bank President A.J. Banga, and President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. Well, scores of young people are expected to play a pivotal role in this year's National Independence Thanksgiving service. This was revealed earlier this morning as the organizing committee held a press conference to provide details of the service scheduled for next Sunday at the Wilde Gymnasium. The Reverend Irma Ambrose says youth from all faiths and service groups will be actively involved.
Some of these youth are drawn from all across Barbados and the various denominations. We have some Christians, Hindu, the Jewish communities, Muslims. Everybody will be there participating actively. We will also have dance, because dance is part of our worship, part of our cultural celebration. So the dance is being done by Covenant Life Dance Group. That will be something to be part of, to see and to embrace. The presentation of the national flag this year will be done by the Barbados Scouts Association.
And Senator Patricia Paris has assured a traffic management plan will be activated to eliminate congestion and to ensure a prompt 10 o'clock start.
The Barbados Police Service will be controlling the traffic flow, so you don't have to be worried about that. We have persons who will assist in the parking in the designated areas, so it will be smooth flow. And we are asking you to be seated by 9:15, because you will not just be there. We will have messages from the diaspora and from Barbadians, so you need to be there early so you would not miss any of the things that are happening on this Sunday.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, a proposal to help people on the brink of homelessness. A call has been made for the creation of a new government department to provide housing for people on the brink of homelessness. It's come from the president of the Barbados Alliance to End Homelessness, Kimar Safri, who says it's part of a housing solution policy he's envisaged. He suggests that policy could involve the construction of small container houses for people or an arrangement where landlords rent their properties to the organization for use by its clients.
I think that government needs to look at, through the welfare department, a new department that look at within welfare, a rental assistant department that focuses on socially displaced people. Yeah? And so that before people become homeless, how about the government buffer you for the 2 months or 3 months till you get a job? Till you get back a job. 6 months till you get back a job. And once you get back a job, we stop that housing solution benefit to you.
Mr. Safri was speaking during a press conference on Wednesday to announce the commencement of the 24-hour shelter for the homeless. He's also disclosed that consideration is being given to creating a separate shelter for women and children.
We are trying to seek another a location that they have that they would have vacated, a whole health location, to see if we can have a female shelter separated, female and children shelter separated from what we have right now, because the children are limited here in terms of where they can go, what they can do. There's no recreation here, so we need space for the children, and we put together a proposal to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, and once they consider that, then there would be no need for the women and children to be here. They will be at a separate location.
Students at special needs schools will not be left out of the recently launched Barbados is Blooming Little Libraries project. That assurance has come from Global Health Advisor with the Prince Godwill D. Formosa Foundation Caribbean Inc., Dr. Kandamaran Krishnamurti. The foundation has joined forces with the Community Development Department and the Massey Foundation to install the mini libraries at different sites across the island. The latest library was opened at the Ann Hill School.
It's around 25 books right now, and then as I said, it's going to be updated on every 6 monthly basis. We have some other projects which are also coming up. That is the like Derrick Smith and Sunshine schools. We plan to go in there and try to get their talents, what their special interest is, and then try to help them for the observership. Like for example, catering, or if you want to do medicine, you can do observe in the doctor's office. So we have still in outlining a few projects, plans, which we will execute in coming years.
And the principal of the school, Imelda Bell, has thanked all involved in the project for remembering that institution and its students.
I do agree that reading is essential for every student here at the Ann Hill School. It is the thing that takes us from one level to another. And we were really happy when we had this opportunity to receive this mini library to Susie and all the others. And we do want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for partnering with us, for joining our team here at Ann Hill School as we seek to enhance the lives of our students here at Ann Hill.
Supporters of Palestine in Barbados joined with others around the world yesterday to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the declaration of the country. However, what was meant to be a joyous occasion was overshadowed by the ongoing war in the Palestinian territory of Gaza. The action was taken following Hamas attack on Israel. Well, during an event at the Embassy of Venezuela, the Caribbean Against Apartheid in Palestine group expressed dismay that Barbados has not yet recognized Palestine. Secretary Lalo Hanneman says the island is among the few remaining CARICOM states yet to do so.
I've been having meetings, and other members of our group have been having meetings and writing to the various ministers since the previous administration, the DLP, asking them to recognize Palestine. We are celebrating our 57th anniversary of independence this month. We are celebrating our 2nd anniversary of being a republic this month. And we are not according any recognition, unfortunately, to Palestine. And I think it's very highly unfortunate, I would even say shameful, that that hasn't happened. There's a little place called Kosovo. I don't know how many of you even have heard of it, but it's a breakaway part of Serbia, and it declared unilateral independence in 2008. Within 10 years of that unilateral declaration, Barbados recognized it as a state.
A Barbadian international relations expert, Professor Andy Knight, says it will be difficult to erase Hamas through military force, as it's not just a terrorist group, but also an ideological movement. He shared his views as he took part in the University of the West Indies Vice-Chancellor's Forum for a discussion titled "The Grab for Gaza, the Israeli-Palestine Conflict, Causes, Concerns and Consequences."
most terrorist organizations cannot be eliminated by military force. We may sort of reduce their impact, but the chances of eliminating the ideology of radical Islam is very, very difficult, if not impossible. And despite the bravado and of the Israeli guards, military generals, despite the bravado of the Prime Minister and his spokespersons, the ground invasion in Gaza will be very costly in terms of lives lost on both sides. And that this war is a lengthy one, as Prime Minister Netanyahu has said it will be. One wonders how Israelis will fare.
There are concerns about the financing of the education transformation process, parental involvement, and greater access for special needs children. Wendy Burt tells us these were some of the issues raised at last night's public consultation.
Several stakeholders in the education system presented their views on the proposed Education Transformation Initiative at the Dighton Griffith School. Among them, Paula Ann Moore. She believes parents are in such a state of confusion over the proposals, many will move their children from the public school system.
A number of us are not confident, and therefore you risk, if you do not truly engage parents, and that this is not more than a rubber stamping exercise, and the decision has already made that you're going to end up widening the chasm, as those with means will move on to private schools, and there'll be a proliferation of secondary private schools the same way that there is for primary schools, and you'll end up, unfortunately, damaging all the positives that makes Barbados a leader in education in the region.
Chief Education Officer Ramona Archer Bradshaw says they will try for some accommodation.
I want to thank Ms. Moore for her comment, and I want to let her know that we heard her, and I reckon that I have recorded that your concern is that more consultation is needed with parents, especially from your group. So I have made a record. I will go back to the drawing board with my team at the Ministry of Education, and we will see how that will be accommodated.
Psychologist Lizanne Marvel is happy the proposals include playtime.
I'm really excited to hear about a pre-primary focus on play. I believe play is children's work, and that is how they develop a range of skills. That's how they develop how to think, how to speak, how to interact, and how to regulate. I'm really curious about how we do early identification at pre-primary level, so that by the time children are entering primary school, there's an indication if there's a difficulty or a difference.
We still want each and every teacher to have some basic understanding of special education. So we want Erdison Teachers Training College to continue to offer that special education module in all of its programs, be it the Tech VOC program, the Bachelor Education program, the Diploma in Education Leadership program.
The issue of financing was also raised, with some proposing a dedicated budget. Vincent Jones had some questions.
I would appreciate seeing the data that inform your decision to move from a two-tier system to that of a three-tier system. What the perceived real benefits will be, when can the effects of the change be expected to be felt within the new system, and what references have been used for this determination.
According to consultant Ida Mae Denny, money cannot be the only concern when children are falling through the cracks.
If the government has to borrow through its nose to make sure that those young people have the chance of a bright future, then it is good debt.
Minister of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, Kay McConney, says there's no need to fear change.
The investment in the transformation would be worth it in the end. I really know that many people are afraid of change. Just up there speaking to some people, change is something we all fear, and many of us will resist. But understand that if we choose not to change now, what will we do for our children 10 years from now?
The Barbados Secondary Teachers Union was also part of the engagement. Wendy Burke, CBC News.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time for us to turn our attention now to sports with Anne-Marie Burke. And thank you for wearing my school scarves tonight, Anne-Marie.
I was waiting on it, Paris. So good evening to you. I begin with news of, let's call it track and field. Harrison College won both the girls and boys divisions at today's Zasani Power 8 BSSAC Cross Country Finals, which were held at the St. George Secondary School course. College won the girls with 281 points after finishing 6th in the first form girls with 159, first in the under-15s with 46, and second in the under-20s with 76. They pipped St. Michael by just 2, as the SMS Cougars were 4th in the first formers with 114, second in the under-15s with 73, and 4th in the under-20s with 96, for an overall total of 283. Foundation were 3rd overall with 358. In the boys, College won with 312 after finishing 6th in the first formers with 165 points, first in the under-15s with 91, and first in the under-20s with 56. Foundation were 2nd overall with 450, and Combomere 3rd with 551. CBC's Anne-Mark Goodrich boys took in some of the action at Constant.
Under overcast skies and in wet and soggy conditions, the action got underway with the under-20 boys division of the BSSAC Cross Country Championships at the course at St. George Secondary School. 127 athletes competing in the senior boys event, and from the start we see the athlete from the Alexandra School here setting the pace, followed by 2 from Cojun-Parry. The pace was nice and easy as the boys finished the opening 200 meters of the 4K race and head for the exit. Let's fast forward to the finishing stages. 150 meters to go, and it was now Matthew Clark from Harrison College in control. He's all alone, no one will catch him today. He's already celebrating, arms in the air, pumping the chest as he cruises to victory in 15 minutes, 19.73 seconds, ahead of his teammate Luke McIntyre, 15 minutes, 31.79 seconds, and Commomere's Brandon Hines, 16 minutes, 14.61 seconds. Matthew Lashley, representing SMS Cougars, finished 4th, ahead of Cojun-Parry's Kamari Johnson. The under-15 boys were up next. Like the under-20 boys, it's a packed field for this contest. The athlete from Princess Margaret took the early lead before they headed to the streets. For the viewers at home, this is an overhead shot of the course, and at this stage of the race, the athletes were spread across the course. To the finish now, it's a battle between Jamari Headley of Aline and Brendan Gill of Dighton Griffith. Henry looks calm and cool while Griffith challenges, and in the end, Aline started to apply the brakes and says, "Catch me if you can," to win in 11 minutes, 56.41 seconds. To beat Gill, 11 minutes, 58.16 seconds. And Judah Hall Fox of St. Winifred's, 12 minutes, 15.95 seconds. We end our coverage with the under-20 girls in action, and Ariel Archer is the early pace setter in this one as they do a loop before exiting the field and onto the road. We go to the finish where again there's a change in guard from the early stages. Barbados' Carifta Games gold medalist Ashlyn Simmons is in her own lane. This is a done deal, ladies and gentlemen. No signs of fatigue. Simmons of Alexandra totally outclassed the other competitors to win in 11 minutes, 4.39 seconds. Lushay Wilkinson of Princess Margaret was second in 11 minutes, 23.75 seconds, while Zoe Thomas of Cojun-Parry came third in 12 minutes, 38.08 seconds. Anne-Mark Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In tonight's business report, countries in CARICOM are emerging as areas for economic investment for Saudi Arabia. The Saudi Investment Minister Khalid Al-Faleh made this known to Caribbean leaders gathered in Riyadh for the inaugural Saudi Arabia CARICOM Summit. Prime Minister Mia Mottley, who is leading Barbados delegation, held talks with the Saudi Minister of Finance and Minister of Investment, Arabia, to follow up on a number of discussions already in progress. The objective of the roundtable meeting was to deepen bilateral relations and facilitate new partnerships between the Kingdom and the 15-member bloc. Among the attendees were prominent Saudi private sector entities, including the Saudi Fund for Development, the Public Investment Fund, and the Saudi National Bank. The SFD has already employed $670 million in the CARICOM region, with $200 billion worth of projects currently under discussion. As the Yuletide season approaches, at least one popular business is finding novel ways to get its products to customers. It's Bridgetown Duty Free, which held a pop-up yesterday. According to General Manager Mark Anthony, the idea is to celebrate people by bringing the store to them.
It's a good opportunity for people, to shop early for the holiday season. But, between that, the people having birthdays, anniversaries, and a whole host of other things. And I think we ought to take the opportunity to celebrate people. No matter what time of year it is, it's important that we celebrate people. And that's what our message is today.
For our second burst at sports, here's Anne-Marie Burke.
And they start with football. Local youth football club Kickstart will represent Barbados in the International Rush Cup. The second edition of the tournament will be held in Port St. Lucie, Florida from tomorrow until November 19th. Kickstart Rush will battle with clubs from North, Central and South America. Head coach Ronaldo Joe says it's a big chance for one of the island's best youth players to be scouted.
The Rush Cup allows, as I mentioned, we have a couple of pro clubs in places such as Croatia, Albania, Dubai, France, and those coaches and some of their scouts will be at the competition. And then obviously a lot of collegiate coaches within the US circuit, they will also be there. So it gives the boys the opportunity to be scouted and hopefully be recruited or offered the opportunity to be recruited.
Captain Kimani Trotman says he's over the moon for the opportunity.
I'm very excited, especially because we're the only Caribbean country participating in a tournament like this, and we're glad to win it.
The West Indies under-19 selectors named the Barbadian pair of pacer Renisio Smith and leg spinners Zishan Matara as the only two newcomers in a 15-member squad for a 2-week training camp in Trinidad. The camp will form part of the ongoing preparations for the ICC Men's Under-19 Cricket World Cup 2024 in Sri Lanka. And the squad will again be led by Dominican batsman Stefan Pascal. Neither Smith nor Matara were part of the squad that visited Sri Lanka this past August and September. From that tour, Smith is a like-for-like swap for fellow pacer Isaiah Thorne, and Matara replaces Jamaican batsman Jordan Johnson.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for spending it with us. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.